Hi everyone, just a quick heads up that this particular podcast episode cuts out near the end because we had technical difficulties from the video standpoint, but the audio is still there. So as you get near the end, it'll be a still frame of Angel and I, and then the conversation through audio. So our apologies that we did not have everything in order, but the content is still really good, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Till next time.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Welcome back. Episode 3, The Wellness Hustle. Again, I almost forgot our name. This always happens.
We've been gone for a little bit. Got a little bit busy, but we're back.
And we got some actual topics that we somewhat prepared for. We have a list that we're going to try to get through. We're also going to put some things in consideration of what our listeners have said, our clients have said, / patients, and we're going to try to hammer all of that in 30 minutes.
Let's do it.
All right, what do we got first on the docket?
The first is fitness as a couple. Is it fun or frustrating?
Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
I think this is a very interesting topic because Raph is a personal trainer. He's been a trainer for like 15 years. And most people go, oh, so then you guys work out together. You must be really fit. No, because it actually, you would think that it'd be so easy, but actually it's actually really difficult for me. And I think it's because it's almost like an expectation, right? Because you're like, oh, I work out every day. And I'm like, great, you can do that. That's your thing. I want it to come from me. If I want to go work out and I'm motivated, I want to go work out and I'm motivated. But if you're like, let's go work out, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. It almost has to come from me. And then if it doesn't, it's off-putting in a way. But that's something that we've been working on lately, is trying to do when we can, after we put down our daughter, is to do a little bit of a workout, either kin stretch or an actual workout. And so it was hard in the beginning, but it's something that we've been kind of trying to do more often, as we're busy with work and taking care of our daughter or whatever it is. But now it's okay, well, we have this 15-20 minutes that we can spend together to maybe not catch up, but we're doing something together and we're being active, and it's good for our relationship. And so it was an up and down kind of it was a bumpy road basically to get here, and it's still a work in progress. But yeah, it's very interesting because, again, you would think that because it's so easily accessible, he can make me programs, and he does, but I like to do it by myself. I don't like to work out together unless we're doing something that we've been planning together. But it's, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I have two thoughts.
Okay.
Number one, trainers are a different breed. We're crazy. The joke I always bring up to clients is that when we check into a hotel, the first thing that we do is go check the gym, and then we get excited if there's free weights and not just a row of treadmills, right? So the thought processes of a trainer is so different than a regular person, right? A lot of times trainers are oh, I can't wait to train today. But I will say, and I had a conversation with a client this past week about motivation to train. And if I had to, give a number out of the entire month of all the workouts that I do, there's probably 2 workouts where I'm I can't wait to work out. And the rest is shit, I need to get my workout in, and how do I fit it in?
But you know what's crazy is I actually never clued into that until very recently with you. In my mind, every time you were oh, I'm gonna go work out, I'm just good for you, amazing, because I never had that feeling. But it wasn't until recently when you actually said that not everyone has the motivation to work, even me, and I'm cool. So that made me want to.
So you just assumed, okay, this whole time we've been living a lie.
Yes. Yeah. So and that's because I know that, it's a little bit more relatable and attainable to actually like, okay, well, I know you don't want to work out today, or you know what I mean, like it's easier to reach you instead of being on that high pedestal of, I'm perfect, I work out every day, all of this.
Yeah. But with training in general though, like I always go back to this little clip I saw of Mike Tyson, and someone asked him in an interview why he thought he was so good at his sport. And he said that he would wake up super early every single day and do things that people didn't like. Mm-hmm. So one, waking up early, not everyone likes that.
Yeah.
No one likes to train every single day for multiple hours in the day, but he did it knowing that he would outbeat his competition. Yeah. So really in life, like anything that's worth it, you have to sacrifice a little bit. So when people get into the idea of like, okay, I'm going to improve my health, they need to understand that you're going to have to sacrifice something. And not just like, oh, I'm going to make my health better today and everything stays the same. Right? So for me, I just have that in the back of my head. So even on the days where I train 10 clients in a row with no break, and now I have to get my workout in, I could easily go, you know what, it'll be easier just to like drive home, spend time with my family, go to sleep early, or I just grind it out and get my workout in. The second thing I wanted to bring up was as you like started talking about this conversation and topic, I just like remembered when we were like first dating in high school. And you would come over and I would be getting my workouts in, and you would be on my bed sleeping.
I would just nap, because what am I going to do? I mean, at first I was watching, and then after a while it's like, okay, bye. Go take a nap, or I'll take a nap, you go work out.
That was some good times.
That was high school.
But I think overall, there's some couples out there that just want to work out together, but what's interesting, I've trained so many partners in my career, and 99% of them would not want to work out together at all.
Yeah, makes sense.
Maybe it's because they wanted to have their own thing, maybe they wanted to get away from them, or like we talked about that before on our podcast, but I think it varies person to person. But I think for us, what I really enjoy, since I work a shit ton and I come home late and we like rush through dinner, put our daughter down, and now we have this like small little window of 20 to 30 minutes, Kin Stretch is kind of a way for us to reconnect.
Yeah.
Like rather than just sitting there and talking, we can do Kin Stretch and talk. So we're kind of getting, best of both worlds, some sort of health benefit and reconnecting in our relationship. But I think overall, a lot of people just need to figure out what works for them. And even though I say 20 minutes, like 20 minutes adds up over time.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that a lot of people assume is like, oh, I have to work out for an hour.
Yes.
But you don't. Like, you can literally set a timer at work and just randomly stand up and start doing squats and then sit back down, and like it adds over time.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's like a big thing for me too, is before when you would be like, do you want to go to the gym or do you want to go work out? It's like, that's an hour. If we're going to the gym, it's going to take maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're going to work out for an hour, and then it's going to be 15 to 20 minutes coming back. That's like almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Where we could have just been like doing something else together. Mm-hmm. But like ever since you made that switch of like, oh, well, you don't have to work out for an hour, but like do something during the day. But like if you do like a 20-minute, like that's what's been helping me, is like cutting down the time to 20 minutes. When I know I can do the 20 minutes or something, that's easier to digest than doing a whole hour of workout. Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And most people can't fit in a whole hour. Like, it's easy to say like, oh, you can carve out time, but like realistically, if I told my patients you have to work out every day an hour for 5 days a week or more, they would laugh in my face, because it's too hard to find that time. But 10, 15, 20 minutes, that's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And then you can build up to an hour if that's what you want to do. But that's changed a lot for me, is when we switched that from an hour to 20 minutes or 30 minutes, that made it so much more attainable, something that I can do. Then I look forward to actually doing it instead of going, oh, it's a full hour. I've only done 2 sets. I have to do another 5. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just becomes so, it's too hard. But 20 minutes, 30 minutes, easier.
Yeah, like I don't remember the last time I've done a full hour workout. Because even for me, I think this started 3 years ago when I started doing like those 10-minute workouts. And I wanted to do it, one, as prepping for when our daughter came, knowing that I would have less time.
Yeah.
And I remember someone asking me after Mallory was born how my fitness was. And I'm like, I've been working out more than I ever have been before. And I think it's because trying to get a full hour in is a lot, and then you end up overtraining. But having these small increments, either once a day or multiple times a day, works a little bit better. Because if I have the time in the morning, I'll do like a 20-minute walk, after 20-minute kin stretch, but in between I'll be like doing work on my laptop, go to the gym, start training clients. If I have a cancellation, a break, if that happens, I get another 20-minute like strength workout. So like in the whole day, or if I even go do kin stretch in the evening with you, it's like an hour or more.
Yeah.
And you do that for an entire year, like it adds up a lot. But it all starts with like, I'm gonna just do 10 minutes of something once a week, and then it becomes a habit. You do twice a week, you do 3, and then eventually just kind of
it just becomes part of your day.
Yeah.
And then it's not like I have to work out. It's like oh, I've already done all this, and if I wanted to, I can do more.
Yeah. That's why, like, when I get clients for kin stretch specifically, the first thing I give them is the cars routine. And I tell them, like, literally what I do is when I turn on my coffee maker, I'm running through my cars. I turn on the microwave, I'm running through my cars. Like, anytime you have to wait for something, you might as well do it. And then clients will tell me that as they're waiting for their Starbucks drink, they're doing like their shoulder cars, and I'm like, just don't hit anybody behind you. But it just becomes like a habit, and you start doing it all the time, and it just becomes part of your life. And I think that's the biggest thing, is like make exercise part of your life and not a thing 100%. You have to do. Yeah. 100%. What else we got on the docket? Because we've been talking nonstop.
Or do you want to keep going with the fitness stuff, or do you want to move on to a different topic?
Maybe one more thing on the fitness stuff.
Favorite memories of couple workouts. There was a point when we were working out a lot more together when it was like before we got married.
Yeah, like pre-wedding.
Yeah. I feel like that was like, and again, there was like a motivation to work out. It's because like, you know, getting married, you gotta look good. So we were working out a lot more, and we were doing a lot of these like fun things to work out. It wasn't like we were following a program, but we were doing like some fun things. Like at one point we were like, oh, let's just like kick this like soccer ball around, and we were just like chasing each other around the gym, kicking the soccer ball. Remember that?
Yeah.
Or like learning how to do cartwheel. So yeah, things like that. I think that those are the fun memories that I have. Like when we made it fun, it wasn't like, of course we still follow the program because it's important to do that, but like making fitness fun and and not doing like the traditional like weights or whatever, and just doing something active together was I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, like sometimes people forget like play should be part of fitness. And yeah, like I remember the soccer ball thing, and I can't remember where I picked that up, but I was like, rather than just doing your traditional warm-up, we tried to kick the soccer ball around for 10 minutes, and now you're warm, like you're huffing and puffing, and then you go into your workout, right? It's just something different. Like, especially now the weather's getting better, like, you know, go outside in the park and like play badminton. Like, that's gonna be so hard because you don't do that. Like in fitness, you always want to find a stimulus that you haven't adapted to. And I always bring up, like, if I go to the driving range today and hit 100 balls, I'll be sore for like 5 days because my body hasn't been used to something like that. So finding stuff that's maybe different, fun, I don't know, go do a yoga class that you have no idea what it is and you just show up and go do it. Yeah. What else we got in there? So we're back. Technical difficulties. Microphone just stopped working just because it wanted to. So next topic.
Alright, so our next topic is parenting as a team, avoiding the one parent does it all trap.
Perfect.
What are your thoughts on that?
So before everything cut out, I was talking about how typical scenario is that men fall into this narrative of, once I get married, I'll be the one working. I come home, dinner's already ready for me. My wife has taken care of the child. The house looks perfect. She looks perfect. And I live a happy life until...
dinner's ready on the table.
Yeah. But that's not what we typically see. Well, we still see it now, but not as much. I think the millennial generation is starting to cut that gap, because even when we walk around in our neighborhood, you're seeing more dads with their kids compared to just women. But there's still a lot of men out there in our generation, probably younger generation, that just kind of like, oh, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, the expectation, or that's what they saw with their parents. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what they're expecting is going to be. Which, if that works with you and your partner, that's totally fine. But, I mean, like you said, there's a shift now where the approach is more 50-50, or as close as that as you can get to. A lot of parents, or not the non-default, because there's always going to be a default parent, right? There's always going to be one parent who just does more things, like cutting nails. You know, that there's one parent that does that. I mean, good for you if you're both doing it, but like generally there's one parent who knows a little bit more because they're spending more time with the child. Mm-hmm. But the second parent, or the non-default parent, should it should be a little bit more hands-on if they are capable of doing it, because it's a full-time job as well. Yeah. Right? And so I think it just needs to be 50-50 or 100-100. Yeah. Right? 50-50. No, you can't split it up, because there's no way that you can split everything in half. It's just physically impossible. So you give 100% of what you can give, and then you guys can figure it out together. Yeah. Right? So like some of the things that we've kind of figured out is like, and this is like through the last 2 years of being a parent, is like, okay, bedtime. I start the bedtime routine, pajamas, like brushing teeth, all that stuff, while Raph is out cleaning the kitchen, because I like to cook, but I hate doing dishes. So there's a lot of dishes. So Raph will do all the kitchen stuff. I will get our daughter ready for bed, and then we kind of meet when we're all done. We meet for when she's drinking her milk, bedtime stories, brushing teeth, and then bedtime. Like we find a way to divide and conquer like the things that we can do, but we make sure that we're doing the things that are very important together. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So yeah.
I think for us it was somewhat easy to figure out what we're responsible for, because I think we kind of have this subconscious connection of like, when you're doing something, I'm going to do something that's going to affect the overall outcome, rather than just like me hovering with you during that whole thing.
I mean, it would be nice. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah. No, but like realistically it is, because as much as it would be great, because I think even me going into this like parenting, I was like, oh, it would be, I had that in mind where it was like, oh, both of us are just going to be doing it together, because we're not going to be like our parents where only the mom was doing all the stuff and the dad would just like be in the background and be only asked for help. But then as we started actually parenting, it was like, well, I can't just have you be with me the whole time, because nothing's going to get done around the house. So we had to figure out what those were. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's all good. But I think every couple just needs to either talk about what do you expect that this is going to look like when the baby comes here? Like, am I doing everything? And I still remember when Mallory was first born, like, I tried to change as many diapers as possible, try to clean the house, try to offload as much as possible, but that's a whole new territory and you don't even know what to expect.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the things that I hated that people would say to me before she was born was that, like, oh, you better get ready for this. And it was always something negative, but it was never anything like, oh, I can't wait for you to experience, you know, your child looking at you for the first time, hugging you for the first time, saying mama or dada for the first time. It was always like a negative thing. Like, the moment you have a kid, it's just like, you're trapped now. Good luck. Like, I just never understood that.
That doesn't make any sense.
But I think, and I had this conversation with a few of my clients, that I think most men just kind of go along for the ride of parenthood and they actually don't want to be a father. And that's why you have the typical scenario. Again, it's not every father, but they work long hours, they're not really at home, and then the weekend comes and they're like, oh, I'm going to go golfing for 6 hours, see you later. Like, just, I don't think a lot of men out there actually want to be fathers. They like the idea, but...
Well, it's following, like, it's just following with the expectation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are with someone for a long time, then you're like, oh, well, I guess I should get married, okay? You get married, but then you don't want to be a husband, we're just following whatever that plan is laid out for you, and then it's like, oh, well, I guess the next thing to do is have a kid. So you're not really in it, and then of course you're not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a bad. You're just trapping yourself.
Yeah.
So that's sad.
But like what we were talking before we even started recording is that if I could, I would totally be a house dad.
Yeah, no, you would.
If I was able to, I would just stop training altogether and just raise kids. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
But maybe for time, what's our next thing?
One of the things that in the same topic is just like making sure that, you know, as you're parenting together, I think that something that's really important is just being like verbally acknowledging each other as you're doing everything. You know, one person might be doing more than the other, but in one sense, but more than the other sense. Like, you just have to say, like, hey, thank you for doing that for me. It's just always finding those bits of connection to each other, because parenting is a whole nother thing in itself. Like, having a relationship and cultivating that relationship, that's one thing. But you add a child to the mix, and then like more later, like that just adds a whole nother layer to it. And so on top of like connecting as in a relationship, just the two of you, when there's another person involved, you just have to continue that and make sure that you're just acknowledging each other and making sure that you don't put that child or children between you, and then it just goes further and further away. Like, parenting as a team, but it's still finding that time together. And like something that we make sure that we've been doing lately is like we're carving those times where we have like date nights, because we need those times together, just the two of us. As much as we love spending time with her, she's awesome, she's so much fun. Like, we're at this stage now where she's just like talking, and like it's so like exciting to have like this little toddler just growing up in front of our eyes. We need to make sure that we are still good and we're still caring for us, because it's great that we have this person between us, but like we can't just ignore each other anymore. Like, because we need to make sure that we're setting a good example for her and our future children, so that we're good going forward. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
I think a lot of couples tend to forget that, where the moment you get married, you're like, oh, well, that's it.
Yeah.
There's no more like courtship. You know?
Or like the focus becomes only about the children, and then one person, you know, the partner feels left out, and then it's just like, well, I'm going to go find that like somewhere else, whether that's going and doing a hobby, playing video games or like spending time with friends and being away from the situation. Like you still need to you make sure that you're cultivating that like love and connectivity together.
Yeah.
That's so important.
Yeah. All right. What else we got?
The last one is about work-life balance.
What's that like?
What to focus on and what to focus on instead. This one is talking about like balance is misleading, which is true, right? Balance is like it's giving the illusion that they have work-life balance. That means everything in their life is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's not realistic. You have hard days. You have good days. There's hard days, but like not every day is going to be the same, and it's just how it is. And so you're just finding a way to work together to make that balance happen, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Work-life balance is like an interesting one because previous generations, the reason was why, and this is from like the business standpoint or financial, the reason why they were comfortable is because they worked nonstop. Mm-hmm. And then the next generation, so their kids watching that, they're like, I do not want that. I'm going to have work-life balance.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they want what their parents had.
Right.
And you can't really get both unless you like, I invested in crypto right before it blew up and now I'm driving this McLaren. Like, it just doesn't happen, right? Like you see the boomers who retired and they're like traveling here. They're buying another cottage, a summer home, whatever. And their kids are like, I want that, but I'm not going to work past 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Not realistic. So I think now you very much have to figure out what does work-life balance look like, being realistic of like, if I want to be able to put my kids through private school, sign up to every sport you can think of, giving them tutoring or extracurriculars in general, having a decent house. And if you live out here in the West Coast in Vancouver, a fucking house is expensive. Let's be real. We all need to like move down to Idaho in the middle of nowhere to afford a house Nova Scotia. There we go.
Yeah.
So it's really hard, at least now in this economy, to figure out where that balance lies. If you have a job that allows you to work from home, make your hours, whatever, like it's really hard to have a blanket statement for everyone out there. But for me, I'm doing something that I really enjoy. So then I end up taking on more. Mm-hmm. And then I get people that need my help, that are in pain, and I want to help them more. Mm-hmm. So I take on more, and then I'll get into burnout.
Yes.
And start working.
This is exactly what I was hoping you would talk about.
And like go into like 20 or 21 days straight of work, and then go, I'm just gonna like lay down for a second, and then out of nowhere, it's been 30 minutes. Like, what just happened?
Yeah.
So.
Now, do you feel like that's work-life balance?
Yes and no, because no in a sense that I'm working long hours, but I'm not doing something like I'm staring at a computer screen, entering information for somebody else nonstop until I die.
Yeah.
Whereas I get to work with people that are, from so many different aspects of their life. I get to talk to them, connect with them, and help them along the way. And then like years go by and I'm still training the same people, and they're almost like part of my family.
Yeah.
So that's where I can take on more. But I don't know, if I was in some sort of desk job, like I would not be happy, right?
You enjoy what you do, which is great. But do you, because you talked about getting to burnout, which has come, like, I know at this point when that's about to happen. You get scratchy throat, you're feeling super tired, always want to nap, or you might get sick. That means you've gone past what you were supposed to do.
But what's interesting though is that I should have hit that twice so far in these two stretches of like, the last one was working 21 days, this time was 20 days. but I didn't hit that. And I think a lot of it is due to the environment that I'm in. And in previous work situations, I was in negative environments that led me to burnout a lot faster and where I worked a lot less. I think right now is the most I've ever worked in my entire life.
Well, because you're super motivated, right? You're trying to achieve a goal, and so you're just constantly grinding, and you're going for it. But do you feel like just because you haven't hit it, does that mean that you're not going to? Because what I'm trying to get at is, it's great that you're constantly hustling. You're trying to build your client base. You can't say no to people. But I don't want you to get to a point where you're going and you go, can't say no, can't set that boundary because you want to help, and that's fine, and that's great, and you love what you do, so that's still great. It's not like I hate my life, I hate my job. You like what you're doing, but that's all the same for burnout. Like, you get to the point where you're like, I've worked for 21 days straight. How much more can you give to your clients?
Yeah.
How much more can you give here at home with me and your daughter? Like, those are the things that are that can fall. Like, those are the things that are like on your plate that can fall, and you don't want those things to happen. And so that's why the question is, what is work-life balance for you? Because you're trying to do both. But at some point, something's gonna fall. And what is it that's more important? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you have an answer. I'm not grilling him or anything. It's one of those.
Feels like it. I'm sweating.
it's something that we have to ask ourselves, right? Because that's, especially as healthcare providers, people who work with other people, we want to help. We want to do as much as we can for the people around us. But that depletes us as well. And when we have nothing, when our cup is empty, what can we give? There's nothing left that we can give to other people. So we got to make sure that we fill our cup.
So more Disney vacations is what you're saying. I hear you loud and clear. Let's just book a cruise tonight.
But I think that's where I feel like you're kind of okay, because you have a house that you come home to where you have a partner that is caring for you. Our family's small. There's just the three of us and Misty. There's four of us. You come home to a loving home, which is amazing. You know, like, we can afford to go and like spend time together, go on date nights. We can go and do all these things. We have my parents that live close by. We can drop off Mally. We can do a lot of things. So there's lots of things that you can do to fill your cup. Most people don't think that way, right? Most people go, okay, well, I have to grind at work because I have this deadline, I have this expectation, I have to do this, I can't say no to this because if I do this, then I can get a promotion. Like, so all those things, you just get like so laser focused on one thing, and everything starts to fall around you. And then you get burned out, and then the people close to you are not close to you anymore, and you don't have support here, and then it just all of a sudden, to them, it goes, oh my God, where am I?
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I'm saying, like, finding out what that is for you and seeing and, like, teasing out what is the most important thing. Because it's not so easy to say, of course family is the most important thing, because you have to work. You have to, if you're paying for a mortgage and school, blah, 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 you have to work. But finding that balance and setting those boundaries for yourself and your sanity and your mental health, very important too.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like what you were saying, in the past generation, they were not good at doing that. They were just like, let me drive myself into the ground to do this. The millennial generation starting to do it a little bit better, but some people are taking it a little bit overboard, where they're like, I don't want to work as much, and then they complain that they can't, but the society again is also, it's hard economically, like, it's just, there's a lot of stuff going on, but you have to find where that is for you. Not everyone's work-life balance is the same, but those are the things you need to talk about and think to yourself about, like, what is the most important thing? How can I make sure that I'm juggling these two well? Nothing falls, nothing's ruined and falls to the ground. but you're still setting yourself up for success.
Yeah. I think maybe to end this, because I think we can continue it, because I think it's a good topic, because one of the there's two reasons why I work as much as I do. And the two reasons is, one, I want to build an empire. Two is legacy. And something that I've been thinking about probably the last 6 years is that concept of legacy. And that in itself is a huge topic. And I think a lot of people don't really think about what they're going to leave behind. And sometimes people fall into working too much for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, what is it worth to you?
That's a good one.
Right? Because they're just in that rat race.
Yeah.
But if you have the idea of, like, I'm trying to build a legacy, so I have to work hard to get there, because things in this world that will actually stay after you leave, you need to kind of do more than the average person, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell people, like, I can outwork anyone. And that's like a huge statement, but it's like, if you see my entire day, like, there's not a second that I waste, like, I'm just gonna go on TikTok. Oh, it's been 40 minutes. Geez, I should probably start doing some emails. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, I have people sending me DMs of, like, funny memes all the time, and I'm like, I don't have time to look at these. Like, I just don't. But yeah, we can talk more about that, I think.
Really good thing.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind, people.
All right. Till next time. I don't know. I thought I was going to come up with something witty and you were going to be like back and forth.
I thought we were going to say more, but you just like, bye.
Yeah. But yeah, if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, leave them in the comments somewhere in this video.
Whatever topics you guys want us to touch on, like, we'd be happy to hear from you and guide this whole thing, because sometimes today was good. We had some guidelines.
Yeah, we actually came prepared. But till next time, the Wellness Hustle. See you guys later.
Bye.